Hi everyone and welcome to my BCM215 digital artifact beta presentation. My digital artifact is focused primarily on the influence gameplay has on mental health. These influences include both positive and negative, but I aim to explore the correlation between gaming and good psychological health. I'll be applying a post-structuralist approach by analysing text and paratext, scholarly and non-academic sources. I was extremely impressed by the feedback I received after publishing my pitch. All of the feedback was constructive and helpful in determining the next steps in the production of my digital artifact. Most comments addressed the layout and structure of my blog, which is why I have decided to alter from video essays to podcasts. Even though there will be a script of information publicised on WordPress, there will also be the opportunity to simply listen. I established podcasts to be a more innovative approach that will allow me to express ideas with emotion and also permit other people to speak. I did like a schedule timeline in my project pitch, and my feedback via comments suggested that I generate a suitable trajectory, which I have since done so. It was also proposed that I identify my analytical framework, which I go to in more depth in my contextual blog post. These were some of the comments I received in my project pitch. I found all of them to be extremely beneficial in the future research of my DA, as many of the sources suggested to me were very useful. I also focused on the overall feedback. In the undertaking of this DA process, I have used two primary social media sites, being Twitter and Instagram. I have determined that this approach presents me with the most valuable and constructive feedback. Although my WordPress blog posts have not yet been published, I am in the finalization component of the first podcast. I do intend to utilize Twitter to converse to my audience the uploads of each of my digital artifact posts. Each post will consist of approximately 800 to 1,000 words, making about a 5-minute long podcast. I will spend time playing a game, which will be a form of ethnography and will help me to understand, observe, and record certain aspects that I may not get. Watching other people play through online streaming videos will also be advantageous. I have collected primary data from followers on Instagram that will be useful for my digital artifact study. Responses have enabled me to understand the thoughts and emotions experienced by gamers who are active and interact weekly. This type of primary research allows me to reflect on the true perspectives of gamers. I have also employed a more informal approach to the collection of data through speaking face-to-face. I will be taking mostly a critical approach in my data collection by asking lots of questions to do with political economy, socio-policies, media archaeology, and importantly, emotionalism. I have conducted my own studies which will be portrayed through graphs and analysis in my first blog. This was some insight I received off an Instagram story. One response was about the effect on family members when a player became moody after losing a game. I have also conducted polls on Twitter. I find them to be extremely effective, and I have received responses and insight that is meaningful and valuable for my DA. I believe this is a great tool for discussion. I also aim to use Reddit, as you can communicate with quite an immense audience. I am hoping that through this I can reach people outside of university whom I don't personally know. I received a lot of really good comments on Twitter, but I thought this comment particularly evoked a sense of thought and perspective, and I definitely agree with her statement. Different games give different emotional responses. I will be using text and paratext, academic and non-academic sources, as well as YouTube videos such as TED Talks. This particular video by a professor of psychiatry and behavioural sciences conveys the issues associated with playing video games. These sources provide a more in-depth analysis and are used as material to support my research.
The definition of somebody who has a gaming disorder is somebody who is playing so excessively that it is impairing their ability to have social relationships, performance in school, performance at work, and that they're doing this activity to the exclusion of all other things.
I think the most important aspect of this digital artifact process is generating discussion. When people begin to think of specific things and interact on a more personal level, questions are asked and topics become relevant. Mental health is of extreme value, especially in today's society. I am so interested in provoking conversation for this issue and investigating if gameplay really does have bad ramifications or if it is more beneficial than harmful. Thank you for listening.